Welcome to Inside the Bleachers, episode number 2. Opening week has just concluded, and we are ready to dive into this episode of baseball. Alongside co-hosts Ryan Patota and Deshaun Williams, I'm your host, Andrew Nolan. Let's jump into this week's episode. Jumping into our first segment of the week, this week in baseball. It is opening week. There was a lot that has gone on. And at the top of the standings, the NL West really leads everything. We'll get to the Rangers and the AL in a second, but the NL West, the Dodgers, the Giants, and the D-backs to some extent, Padres as well. It's been a full NL West show so far this week.
Yes, it has been. The Dodgers, they were actually started out 7-0 with a 7-game winning streak, and then they went to Philadelphia, and they actually played pretty well there, but unfortunately, they did not complete the sweep there. I think they actually lost 2 out of 3, if I'm correct me if I'm wrong there. But anyways, the Dodgers, they had a pretty good run. It's the Dodgers, and we're going to talk about their injuries, I'm sure, soon. But, yeah, it's just the Dodgers, and they'll be up top once again as they go forward. But credit to the Padres and Giants because we didn't expect them, especially the Padres, after what they dealt with. The uncertainty of if they can keep this sustainable, we'll see. I know they've actually swept the Braves, and they took care of the Guardians as well during the opening week. So they've had a really good start. So we'll see what happens. And the Diamondbacks, it's their pitching. They made some moves during the offseason with, getting Corbin Burns. He wanted to come back home to Arizona, so he did, and felt like he's been a boost. And we'll see how long this lasts, but it'll be a really tight competition once again this year for the NL West.
Dodgers started 8-0. The Padres started 7-0. Both just had incredible starts. The Giants have come out of nowhere, especially San Francisco playing really good baseball. Arizona, as you mentioned, they're 5-5. So 4 teams above 500. And then you have the Rockies. But, yeah, forget about the Rockies for now. They did play in a snow game this past weekend, so that was kind of fun. We'll get to that in a little bit. The NL West, it's going to be – obviously the Dodgers, it's their division to lose. I think that's a pretty clear. They're defending champs. The amount of money they spent in the offseason in a lot of ways. But San Diego and San Francisco aren't going to let them take that easily, and even in Arizona. It's not going to be an easy division to win as it has been in past years.
Yeah, that's true. Like you said, it's their division to lose. Whether or not they win it is entirely up to them. The Padres, I didn't see this coming. I think I had them missing the playoffs, I'm pretty sure, right? The Giants, same thing. I thought this was easily going to be return of the Diamondbacks and the Dodgers dominating again. But the Padres' bats have come through in a crazy way, right? Tatis, he's back. Machado, he's playing good. Jackson freaking Merrill, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
He's got an extension himself.
Yeah, Merrill just got an extension.
We knew you were good, but damn. You want to be an MVP that bad? Fine. Go ahead. I won't stop you anymore because I'm done hating on Jackson Merrill. I'm done underrating Jackson Merrill. Jackson Merrill's got it as far as I'm concerned. He wants to win MVP this year? Fine. Who needs Shohei Ohtani? Who needs Ellie?
The battle of MVP will just strictly be in the NL West. It'll be between Jackson Merrill and Shohei Ohtani. It'll be Dodgers, Padres. Whoever wins the division wins MVP.
For real. And then on the Giants side, how they're 8-1, I don't even understand it.
Because Dodgers has just really worked out for them so far.
Yeah, but at this team doesn't impress me though. You know what I mean? On paper, this team does not impress. And even when I look at the stats, this rotation is okay at best, right now. But the bullpen is freaking amazing.
Their bullpen has come through clutch. Their biggest moment of that, at least from watching them, was when they came home in their home opener against the Seattle Mariners on Friday night. Or Friday afternoon, 10-9 victory. I mean, it was a slugfest on both sides, but their bullpen at the back end came through in the end. That was huge. their schedule so far, they started in Cincinnati, and the Reds have had their struggles and have definitely been a little bit of a surprise early in the season so far in the first week. Then they went to Houston, who, again, not the same Houston team we know, but it's still a good Houston team, especially in Houston. They're still there, and then they come home and face a Mariners team who is also like a decent team, not like on the bad end of the spectrum. They're going to host the Reds again this week before going to the stadium in the Bronx and taking on the Yankees. So the Yankees will be their first true test to really see how good is San Francisco. That'll be a really good series in the Bronx over the weekend. But yeah, the Giants there's guys stepping up that you wouldn't have expected.
Yeah, for sure. Heliot Ramos is also one of them. He's been taking another step up this year so far early in the season. He took a big step up last year had a lot of people saying, oh, wow, who is this guy? And once again, he's starting off hot, so good for him.
And moving over to the AOS, in talking about the Astros, the Texas Rangers have come back from the dead last year. 2 years ago, winning the World Series, having an incredible season. They have an incredible team. We know this. The Texas Rangers last year should have been good. They should have made the playoffs. They almost should have won the division. They let it slip away, and so did Seattle. Let Houston win it once again. But the Texas Rangers are back in the top. They are 8-1. They are on their way to being one of the best teams in the American League right now. They are playing good baseball. They're playing good teams. They beat the Red Sox opening weekend. They beat the Rays this past weekend. So they're playing some good AL East opponents. The Texas Rangers top of the AL right now.
Yeah, good for the Texas Rangers. You know, they've always been a good team. Felt like just with Bruce Bochy having that experience there. So good for the Rangers. I know their starting pitcher's been really stepping up. It stepped up during this past weekend against the Tampa Bay Rays. I know the Rays are not like the Boston Red Sox offensively, but it's still baseball. I mean, in order to take care of the bad team, you gotta have pitching, and that's what the Rangers have been doing so far.
Yeah, Nathan Eovaldi continues to just impress me. Like his whole career, it feels like he's just been that guy that can be relied on. Mm-hmm. Dang, the staff's not doing too well tonight. Like, Nathan, can you go out there and give me a quality start? I got you, coach. Like, that's the kind of player that he is. And really, this year, he hasn't really needed to do that. You know what I mean? Like, there's no reason why anyone needs to come to him and say, yo, I need a quality start out of you tonight. Because this whole rotation is just cooking. Like, they're doing a great job right now. And what's crazier is that it's led by Nathan Eovaldi. Like, the guy who I literally just said is only here to give you quality starts when you need them,
Right.
Your second or third guy in the rotation. He's your ace, and he's carrying you. The bats aren't there right now, and obviously that's going to change, of course.
Yeah.
But, Nathan Eovaldi, dude, oh my gosh,
Well, going back to last year when the Rangers were struggling, there was a game. It was a weekend series against San Francisco. The Rangers were home. I think it was middle of the summer, and it was an interesting situation where the team, after another loss to San Francisco, they had been really going through a tough stretch. They got together and they had a team meeting, and what was basically said was, Eovaldi's going out tomorrow. It was going to be a Sunday afternoon game. We got to win this game because he's our ace. He sets the tone and everything. And now this year we're seeing that, but now we're seeing it from the entire rotation. It's not just they're not just relying on Eovaldi as you're saying, and that's huge for the Rangers. Hence why they're in first place. Hence why they're doing so well in the American League against these solid teams. We'll see if that continues there. Sticking in the American League and going to the American League East, we've had a big extension that broke late last night. Vladimir Guerrero, 14-year contract. And we'll let the Blue Jays fan talk about this, Ryan. What is your... obviously, this is a big thing for Toronto.
Finally.
But...
So you finally caved and gave the man his money.
Yeah. Should have been done 2 years ago. And it just shows you... Now, is $500 million worth it for Vladimir Guerrero Jr.? Probably not. Probably
Oh, wow.
not 500 because it should have been done not now, but should have been done 2 years ago when Bobby Witt Jr. got his money. Because it should have been done 2 years ago. That's all I'm gonna say. But now, over the offseason, what the Blue Jays tried to do is they did currently from rumors they did $450 for 10 years. So I guess he wanted the years to go up, so he wanted 14 years, and gave him $500 million. So 500 now it's upfront. There's no deferral money, there's no opt-outs, and there's a no-trade clause along with it. So basically, you're paying him about $35 million per year.
You're stuck with him for 14 years.
And you're stuck with him for 14 years, which, I mean, you need a star player. That's what... If they would have lost him in free agency during the offseason, everyone else would have left. Because what do you do in your future? So now you have your direction in the future. So, I mean, is $500 million really worth it? We'll see down the line. But I just feel like it should have been done a couple of years ago, and that they waited a little bit too long for this.
It's crazy.
It should have been done a little. They waited a little bit too long. It should have been done.
We need a sound effect for like shock. Like I'm just in shock that you would be like, is it worth it? No, probably not. Like that's crazy to me because Vladimir Guerrero Jr. He's one of the best hitters, best players of the league. Like it's. What do you got, Deshaun?
Hold on, I'm doing the math in my head. Okay, so Vlad plus baseball equals. Oh yeah, best player on your team. Okay, yeah,
not even close.
Yeah, the best player on your team
that.
for a while.
It should have been.
Former MVP candidate. A guy who's what was he? 26, 27.
So the rest.
Like that?
So the deal is going to go for the rest of his career.
Of course.
He'll be 40 by the time it's done.
The point is.
100%.
He's in his prime right now, and we've seen what a prime Vlad can do.
Ooh.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Deadly.
So is he worth the $500 million? Juan Soto got $750 million.
That's ridiculous.
Okay.
765. Yeah.
If Juan Soto can get 765, there's just no problem giving Vlad $500 million.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Vlad is absolutely worth the money.
I mean, the problem is it should have been done a long time ago when Bobby Witt got extended. And
I agree. It should have been done a long time ago. It should have been done a long time ago for a few of these players.
Yeah.
But of course, as the market
100%.
grows, right, guys are going to want to test their value.
yeah.
And what Bobby Witt got is an absolute steal
It's a
for the
bargain.
Royals.
It looks like a
right?
bargain every day.
So,
We
you know,
sit here.
that's a totally different situation. You know what I mean? Bobby Witt is, what, 22, 23?
He's very young.
Right?
Yeah.
He signed his
5 years
career.
younger.
He signed basically
Majority of his career.
of his career away to the Kansas City Royals
Yeah.
because he believes in what they're doing. He likes it in
Mhm.
Kansas City. Not to say Vlad doesn't like it in
Yeah.
Toronto.
Vlad was in Toronto.
Right.
Yeah.
But
That's why they gave him the money.
like it's different when a young player does it versus when a player who's
Who's already
In their
established,
prime.
already kind of established himself in his
Yeah.
prime, right?
the Nationals tried the same thing with Juan Soto.
Yeah.
We gave him damn near $400 million.
Yeah.
And he
Wow.
said, "Nah, we're
Said,
good.
"Nope, I'm good."
I'm out of here."
Mm-hmm.
Right? So imagine if you gave the same contract to Vlad that same year, he would have said, "Hell no, I'm good.
Hmm.
We'll test my value." Hence why,
Almost happened. Nearly almost happened.
hence why you just cough up the money. It's not a bad thing to give a guy like Vladimir Guerrero Jr. $500 million. You know, these days that's not that much, right? I mean, Shohei Ohtani got $700 million. Juan Soto $765. Who knows what the next player's gonna get? Someone's getting $1 billion in the next 5 years.
that's
Okay,
100% happening.
so $500 million these days, that's fine. You know, that's what you pay for your average star in the league now.
At this point, yeah. So Vlad extension, a lot of money, 14 years. The rest of his career will be in Toronto. I mean, he's a player that you just don't expect him to go anywhere else. It's like one of those players, and in this day and age of baseball, that's a rarity.
It is.
We really don't see players be quote unquote loyal. The only person that really has only ever established that is Mike Trout. He's the only
Yes.
person that has adamantly stayed with the team that is going to failure every single year just because he loves the city, he loves the team, he loves the fans, and he just loves to play the game. That's the more important part. And I think that's where Vlad is at in a lot of ways. And obviously Toronto has some good, like, you can't always say that, oh, Toronto's every single year is not going to have a chance at something.
Yeah.
But Toronto's not one of the teams that every year you're like, okay, there's some promise there. You never know what could happen.
Yes, there is.
It's
Now, the next 2 years, there's a lot of free agents on this team. So getting the Vlad extension, that need to be number one priority for now. Now you got free agents like Bo Bichette, who probably will be next. Because now, once you have the Vlad extension done, now you're going to have all sorts of everyone else can commit to the team, which is why I saw Tanner sign. Max Scherzer, they probably said, "Hey, are you going to get Vladimir extension done?" The front office probably said, "Yes, we're going to get it eventually done." So I'm like, "Okay, I'll go sign with you." So the future aspect, you're set for the future. With now you have your one franchise player. Now he can attract free agents like you saw during the summer.
right. Moving on from that, as we're starting to run out of time in this section, couple small/bigger things. Obviously, Carson Kelly hitting for the cycle as a catcher. That's really impressive. His first career cycle. Cubs, that was in Sacramento against the A's and whatnot. So in a minor league ballpark, and good for Carson Kelly, and
Attaboy A's.
good job, A's. Yeah, right, exactly. Blake Snell going on the IL. That's a huge loss for the Dodgers and another pitching loss. The good news for the Dodgers, though, is Shohei Ohtani has thrown a 26-pitch bullpen session. There is no timetable on his return yet, but it looks like he's trending in the direction of pitching again in the major leagues. That's a big thing for LA. Again, we mentioned it earlier with the Dodgers. The 8-0 start, but then they lost 2 of 3 to Philly. So the Phillies, who are playing very good baseball to start the season, playing against good teams, and the Dodgers having a little bit of struggle in Philadelphia over the weekend. And finally, talking about our 3 players from last year as they begin their sophomore seasons. Jackson Merrill, we already mentioned, he's off to a great start. He signed the 8-year extension there. Paul Skeens is already off to a very good start. His first 2 starts of the season. He will get a good test on tomorrow, Tuesday against the Cardinals. That will be a good test for him as well. And Tarek Skubal has been off to a good start for the Tigers. The Tigers are playing okay baseball, and we will see
They'll get going.
what happens with Skubal as he continues on the former AL Cy Young winner last season. All right, moving on to our highlight section of the week, and we move to Rafael Devers and Alex Bregman, the Red Sox duo. We take a look at Rafi Devers and his struggles early on, and we take a look at the video here by MLB Network.
Of the way the Red Sox eventually handled the Rafael Devers situation, and eventually saying, hey, we're here to win ball games. We're doing this for the good of the club. If you were a better fielder, fine, but Alex Bregman is here. You're the DH. However, perhaps I didn't enter in the human component of this.
Yeah.
Dero, he's 0 for 19 with 15 strikeouts. He looked a little better yesterday. He drew 2 walks. His at-bats were better. But did we not figure the human, or did the Red Sox not figure the human component into this enough?
No, they didn't figure it. But I also say they're paying him $313 million, and he was a bad defender at third base.
And the check clears.
And they brought in Alex Bregman. It's not like they just brought in anybody to play third base.
Well, they went out and got Bregman. So if you're Devers and you're thinking, I'm the big guy here, and now why did you have to go and pursue a third baseman?
I'm going to take it a step further. I had some ex-big leaguers kind of question. They thought I was a little too harsh on Devers yesterday, and I should take more of the personal touch. I would have moved Devers to first base, and I would have looked to have traded Tristan Casas for one of those Seattle arms is how I would have played it. I think you're that transition from third to first, we've seen that take place quite a bit and guys be really good with it. Devers struggled. He only had 15 spring training at-bats. I need to see him get a few more plate appearances before I freak out. But I don't like the fact that there are times where he just can't hit the heater. Because he's one of the best hitters in the game. He covers up a lot of flaws for them.
He's their best hitter. He looks defeated, though.
Yeah.
To start off, it affected him.
Call David Ortiz.
And you can say it shouldn't affect you, but it did. All right.
So jumping back into this discussion after watching the video, and Mark DeRosa makes a lot of really good points there. The first thing that stuck out to me was when he was talking about moving Devers to first base and then trading away Tristan Casas. That was a very good point. The other point is, yes, I think, and I've heard different sides of this, different discussions about this, is the move to DH, only DHing, having to come off the bench, hit only. You're not playing in the field. That's definitely a big thing. The struggles, the 0 for 21 stretch, but then he goes 10 for 17. He comes home to Fenway, plays much better. I think we're gonna a lot of things are really gonna tell as we move into this week. After he's now had a full week, he's now played both on the road and at home. He struggled on the road, played very, very well at home, granted against the St. Louis Cardinals. But the Red Sox it's an interesting situation with Rafael Devers and then Alex Bregman coming in at third, who has made some really good defensive plays at third.
Yes, he has made some good defensive plays at third. I'm just going to say this about Rafael Devers. I mean, he just got into a little bit of a slump to start the season that maybe would have usually happened like in the middle of the season, and then he got out of it. I mean, so, it was a big overreaction to start, but maybe it's just one of those slumps, And now he's back, he's back at home, playing. I know it's against the Cardinals, but when you're back at home, you get a different feeling that, oh, my confidence is back. And he just had to get his confidence back, and he did that, and we'll see what happens going down the line. And that 1-2 punch, Devers and Bregman, that's going to play a big role for that team for this season.
I wanted to believe at the beginning, like we've talked about this, right? Like,
Yeah.
does the move to DH, like, is that affecting with his mental, right?
Mm-hmm.
And like, I think I made that point, right? I think I said that. And then like afterwards, I kind of thought about it. I was like, I'm not an MLB player. Like, what do I really know? I'm just a guy who talks about baseball casually, right? So,
Right.
So maybe I'm wrong, right? Maybe it's something else. Maybe it's mechanics or something like that. After that video, I was completely right. I'm telling you right now. He didn't like the move to DH. And I don't know what Alex Cora told him, but whatever he told him, it worked. And I don't even think there should have been a problem. You're making $313 million, dude.
Like DeRosa said, yep.
Why the hell am I babying you? You are a grown-ass man in the major leagues.
And he's been in the major leagues for 4 or 5 years now. Like he's been in the major leagues for he's not just like a young rookie that's like this is his third season. This is a big change for him.
MVP candidate,
right?
All-star player, Silver Slugger, all of this stuff. You're our franchise player, and you're complaining because we moved you from a position that you suck at. We're trying to help you
to a better situation to help your MVP candidate candidacy.
We're trying to help you, and you're over here complaining because I don't get to play defense now. You suck at defense. We're trying to make sure that you don't suck at defense so that we win more games.
That's why they brought in Alex Bregman.
So like
exactly,
like this baby and crap and all that stuff. Like, stop it. You're making $313 million. Oh my gosh! If someone told me that I can make $313 million and all I have to do is step up to the plate and go 0 for freaking 21, sign me up, bro. I'll do it right now.
That's the easiest $313 million ever.
Please sign me up. I will do the job gladly. Like, I don't understand how it mentally affected you that we're bringing in someone who's going to help our team win. And, like, it's not like we're saying, like, you got to go, kicking you to the curb. You're a bench player now. No, you're still our guy. But the situation that we had you in before, it just didn't work, So we're trying to help you. And to your point about moving him to first base, I was like, hey, that's kind of interesting, Like, that's a solid idea. But then I remember he can't even play at third. So what makes you think he's going to field a ground ball at first base? If he can't field a ground ball at third base, what the hell do you think he's going to do at first base when a ground ball comes to him? Yeah. So, no, please do not trade away Tristan Casas. Please don't do that at all. Do what you did in the offseason and sign Alex Bregman like you did. And if you need an arm, trade for one. You got prospects. Use them, right?
A lot of them.
So,
yeah.
Like, stop being a baby, Rafael Devers. That's what I'm trying to say, basically. Like, you are a big leaguer. You are a grown-ass man. do your job, hit the ball, make contact, and be the MVP that we all know that you can be.
Red Sox had, like I said, had swept the Cardinals over the weekend. When Devers came home to Boston, he started getting it under control. And same with Bregman. I mean, watching that series, and more of it was watching Sunday's doubleheader after they got rained out on Saturday. Devers hit a home run in Game 1. Bregman hit a home run in Game 2. They scored a total of 23 runs between the two games, and it was 18 in the second game. Sunday Night Baseball against St. Louis was really the dagger. The Devers-Bregman combo is super deadly when they're both hitting. And to wrap up this discussion, basically, Devers as a DH, if he finds it, that is going to be really, really deadly. I mean, they had a guy that was making his major league debut on the mound last night on Sunday Night Baseball, Hunter Dobbins, pitched really well, not taking anything away from him. He'll be the story of the locker room and the story out of Boston this morning because of that. But at the same time, the offense scored 18 runs, and it was Bregman, Devers, and also we got to talk about Wilyer Abreu. I mean, Wilyer Abreu is batting over 500. He's well on his way to going right back to being a top candidate in the American League in general for a lot of categories. He is on fire right now, and he came in and he walked it off. He came in pinch hit in, I think, the 8th inning or something of Game 1, ended up walking off the game in the bottom of the 10th in Game 1 of the doubleheader yesterday. So there's just so much promise there in Boston when it comes to what they have. And speaking of that, it's a good transition into our prospect spotlight of the week. First, I do want to mention, as we get a promo as well in the middle of this, is make sure to check out Ryan's latest article, his last week prospect spotlight, which was Jackson Jobe of the Detroit Tigers, another pitcher from the Tigers. So the Tigers have a lot of good prospects there. But back to the Red Sox and their prospects, and their biggest prospect, who they just signed to a big extension, Christian Campbell.
Yeah, Christian Campbell, the number 7 prospect in the Boston Red Sox organization. Did you know that he was a 4th-round compensatory draft pick? That's just crazy to me that he was taken that late. 32nd overall draft pick, and as you mentioned, he was signed to an 8-year, $60 million extension this past week. Highly talented prospect in the Boston Red Sox organization, and the reason for that is that he has had a really good start to this season. 364 average so far this season, on top of what the offense that Boston already has. He had his first career home run actually in Texas during opening week, and mainly plays second short. He can play a little bit in the outfield too if they need him to be, and can obviously sprinkle in DH if they don't want to DH Devers. He actually batted .330 combined last year in the minors. He made the jump from high A to triple A, and I mean mainly with the incredible stats in Double A Portland with a 362 average in 213 at bats, and combined last year he hit 20 home runs in combined last year for the. In the minor leagues. That prompted him to be promoted to the major league this year after a really good spring training.
Yeah, Christian Campbell, you talked about his versatility. He started Game 1 yesterday. He was in center field, and then he moved back into second base. Game 2, he's been playing a lot at second base. It seems like the Red Sox are going to move him around there in general.
Yeah. Utility player.
Trevor Story at short, obviously Bregman at third, Costas at first. I'm trying to remember Ramon Gonzalez. They have who can play second, who can play first. He can play around. The Red Sox in general have a lot of versatile players, but Christian Campbell himself, that is a huge thing breaking into the league. And I believe that's what Karl Ravech talked about last night a little bit too on the broadcast, on the ESPN broadcast of Sunday Night Baseball, was when they sat down with him the versatility and how big that is.
Yeah, it's extremely important. I mean, for a baseball player, you got to play different positions, and to have the versatility that he has, I mean, that's important, because going in this league, you need to play a whole bunch of positions, because if somebody gets hurt, you're the one to step up, and that's what Christian Campbell has, and which is why they just signed to an 8-year, $60 million extension.
How do you think Fenway Park will play a factor in how good Christian Campbell is?
I think he'll play a big impact. I mean, he can hit it. He's got power, as you can tell looking at the stats. I mean, he's got power to be able to hit it out of the ballpark and can be like small ball. I mean, hit one off the monster. So it's important to use that ballpark to his advantage.
More on Christian Campbell coming this week with Ryan's article. You can read about it on InsideBleachers.com. And moving on to our next section, it is the bloopers of the week.
Normally does not take this much time to get the tarp on, but the wind is causing so much havoc at the right side of the infield.
And there's another factor, and it happened so quickly that guys didn't have a chance to get ready, and all of a sudden it was go get them, boys. And with a heavy wind, it's really difficult for the grounds crew. So we're seeing a Lake first base. Other than that, a lot of the infield is covered.
Also, the umpires, I feel like, stopped this game at the appropriate time, because
Do you have any new tricks for the Yankees?
Goldschmidt swings at the first pitch and lofts it to left center field and deep. Mitchell back, track, wall, see ya! There's a leadoff hitter, 1-0 Yanks.
yeah.
High fly ball, left field, Curio back, trap, wall, see ya! A grand slam for Aaron Judge, and the Yankees are pouring it on. High fly ball, center field. Mitchell back on the track, at the wall, see ya! 3 home runs for Aaron Judge. They've done it again. A record 8 home runs in one game by the Yankees, and it's just the 4th inning.
Kind of leaves you speechless.
2-1 on Nelly. Get through. There it is. Ryan Nelson's got a ribby knock. He's driven in 1, and they get the second run at home as Gino's out. Nelson sneaks into second. All right. What a game. Unbelievable. 6 home in the 8th inning. They lead it 8-6.
Now the fact the Cubs have their infield drawn in allowed this one just to sneak by Dansby Swanson, who was in on the grass that time, and once again.
Grounded to first. Berger. 9 innings of score. Pass to second from the outfield grass. Ball game.
Been shut out in the last 3 days.
2-2.
Got him looking! Ball game over.
Says every dad at a game. Fly ball out to left. Oh, Moniak dropped it. Kyle wasn't fully running once he got to first, so he's able to get to second. I don't know if he would have gotten any farther anyway. The wind has definitely picked up.
Blowing from left to right, and that ball drifted on Mickey. That's the thing, his ball, when he hit it, I thought he hit it off the end of the bat, but it almost went out of the ballpark. But you saw him when he, look at this, start drifting. This is where they have the wind blowing from his right to left. And just
Frelick, line drive, base hit. Churio will, and that gets by
Judge and Contreras all score. It is 7-5 on a Frelick base hit and a misplay by Fraley.
Right under the glove all the way to the wall, so Frelick able to clear the bases. Base hit RBI, E9. Again on a slider. He's been getting beat on sliders. You know, Fraley a little bit late with the glove down.
Deep third, long throw, and it will be off the glove. But Mazzardo coming around as a rise. 2-0 Padres. Ramirez had more time than he realized and uncorks that. And it's off the glove of Mazzardo, and the Padres take a 2-0 lead.
Seems like Padres just putting the ball in play, and it's working out great for them. Hey, a nice play getting that, but not on the back end. The short hop, Mazzardo has to abandon the bag off the heel. Everybody is safe.
The home portion of the 2025 season. The first pitch misses, ball one.
I think the key today for both pitchers is trying to find the grip. You know, it's been snowing like this probably for the last 20 to 30 minutes. So trying to find that release point is going to be key.
So you do the math. Double the home run total potentially. And we'll have some fun. Contreras is chewing on the tape. And he'll chew some more as he's down on strikes. Fourth strikeout for Ryan. This will be the tail of the tape.
Yeah, why use a pocket when you could just eat it, you know? Kind of like kids in glue.
So week one filled with a lot of bloopers. Just, I mean, the White Sox. I mean, yeah, the tarp. That was a funny one. Tarp, having to put multiple tarps because they got stuck. The snow game, Colorado. Contreras eating his bat tape. That is classic baseball player.
Yep.
Classic baseball player.
What baseball player do you bad tape?
Yeah, who eats their tape?
I want a name. Tell me someone that you know who's eating their.
Nobody I've ever known does
Contreras,
that.
not.
But that's just for some reason that's just a baseball thing to do. I don't know why. It's just Contreras being the most baseball player ever. Like, to me, that's just crazy. The Reds losing 3 games in a row, a 1-0. That's just Cincinnati. I mean, that's.
They got no hit with 7 with games too.
2 against the Rangers, 1 against Milwaukee. That's amazing job, guys. Amazing job. They kept losing too.
And then scored 14 runs.
And then the Brewers on the other side, they allowed prior to the Cincinnati series, they allowed 36 runs in the Bronx.
Get rid of those torpedo bats.
On opening weekend, torpedo bats.
Get rid of those.
Oh, those torpedo bats. Oh man, some good ones and some other ones that we showed. Just so many good ones this week. And next week we're gonna have some more for you. That's just, I mean, baseball. It's a fun game, isn't it? Baseball's a fun game. Well, that will do it for this week's episode. Make sure to follow us on social media, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and check out the website for all of our content with the 2025 baseball season now in full swing. For Ryan, Deshaun, and I, we'll see you next week.